Hello and welcome to a new Ironman video. So in the last video we left off with getting the reforged Sun Spear, which you can see I'm using right now and really enjoying. It seems like a pretty significant upgrade, even just over the tier 75 Vanquish. I don't know, maybe that's just the excitement of getting a cool new weapon. But we're going to start this video off with a really small milestone, but a significant one, range to level 80. So that is my first combat stat to 80. Range surpassed magic for me, which I was not expecting because for so long magic just had a huge lead over the other two combat styles. But before we get started and doing anything else beyond this ranged level, I wanted to talk about the goals for this episode. So in the previous episode, we finished off River of Blood, the first Grandmaster quest, and I said I have my sights set on our second one, which is going to be Plague's End, because we want to get to Prif as soon as possible. But I still have level 75 prayer and level 75 summoning to go, and I also have a bunch of quests as well. And it's a bit of a tall task for just 1 week, so what I'm going to do instead for the meantime is set a smaller and more attainable goal for this week, and then try to get to Prif in the following video. So one boss that I can kill and have a bunch of different benefits from, namely charms, combat XP, money, and also like just boss KC for unlocking rewards from Warrior's Retreat, is Archglacior with either 0 mechanics or just like one of the simpler mechanics activated, and I should be able to kill that relatively easily. I'm planning on meleeing the Glacior, but I do need a form of sustained healing to kind of keep me alive, since I only have access to tier 70 armor right now, and I don't have Soul Split. Most people who AFK the Archglacior use Soul Split to do that, but we're working on 75 prayer, so obviously that's not an option. Now, I don't have enough charms to get to 75 summoning, but I do have enough to get to 68 summoning. And at 68 summoning, we have access to the Bunyip. So my overall hope is with the Bunyip, tier 70 armor, a little bit of food, and the Vampiric Blood Essence that we unlocked in the last video, that should be enough healing to allow me to do kind of lengthy trips at Archglacior. Okay, it's questing time. Unfortunately, I need access to Charger's shop here in Uglog, because I need to buy a bunch of raw beef to train summoning, which means it's time to do As a First Resort. Not one of my favorite quests, but hopefully it won't take too long. Okay, it was a long quest, but we're done with As a First Resort. Okay, the main reason we did it, well, the immediate reason I should say, is just to access Charger's shop here, which is useful because she sells these raw beef packs, and I need a lot of raw beef because I'm planning on making a lot of bloated leeches for summoning. And I'm not quite at this stage yet, but this shop is also essential if you're planning on growing some of the higher level play around farm creatures like dragons, because they feed on meat. So you need a way to get a ton of just like raw meat in noted form. And this is, I think, just about the only good way in the game to do that. So you can buy 300 raw beef a day, and you can do the same with a couple of other kinds of meat as well, which is going to be useful in the future for play around farm food. So I've been training my summoning in Menaphos because until you unlock better ways of teleporting to a Spirit Obelisk, this is actually the closest one to a bank. And this is our first milestone in our summoning leveling. 47 unlocks the Magpie. I had been making beavers. Very slow, very inefficient, very poor XP to GP ratio. But magpies will be a little bit better. And the reason why I'm doing magpies is it's just the next pouch by, level that you unlock, where the tertiary ingredient is relatively easy to collect. So start doing those until 49 summoning now. I am so bad at missing the recording of key levels. I just hit 60 summoning, which is kind of a milestone, but unfortunately it does unlock access to the QBD layer, which means that in the future for death tasks I can be assigned QBD. And I can't kill her because I don't have super antifires yet. Although, come to think of it, I don't think we're that far away from super antis. Yeah, they're only 85 herb lore, and I could always boost up to that point if we really want to go kill some QBD. So maybe it's not a bad thing to train summoning after all. So I started my summoning training with about 5 mil cash, which was nowhere near enough to even get to 68, let alone 75. I'm currently 64, and I have all my pouches I've made so far, but the cool thing is I can swap with Bogrog here, and I can get back 70% of the shards that were used to make these pouches. So my hope is that is going to be enough. I might have to swap a couple more times, but in the end I should be able to recover enough shards to push me hopefully to 75. We'll see, but it might be tight at the end. Okay, here's our first breakpoint. 68 summoning achieved. Okay, I'm making my first 25 bunyip pouches. I'm going to start with these. I would have to go fish some more raw sharks to make any more, actually, but yeah, we're going to try using these and see how well the passive healing is and see if this can be enough in combination with the blood essence to make me be able to AFK the Archglacior. Okay, we are here at the Glacior front, and I have tried to prep a little bit for this boss. So I've watched a couple of guides on how to kill Archglacior with no mechanic selected. And to be honest, a lot of it is geared more towards higher level players. I haven't really been able to find anyone with my level of stats and gear killing this thing. But I think that we are prepped decently. I have my tier 70 tank armor, I have my tier 78 sun spear, and then for healing I have both the vampiric blood essence, I have the bunyip pouch, and then I do have a few catfish as well. So hopefully all of that will provide enough healing to be able to kill the boss effectively without needing anything more than this. So generally when people camp this boss AFK, they do activate the first ability, the flurry ability, and I am probably just going to leave that unchecked for now, and we'll see how it goes. If it is fairly easy and I'm not struggling at all and not really needing to bank for food or anything, then I will turn on the flurry ability. That just increases your drop chance for the rare drops a tiny bit. But we will still get pretty decent loot, and really what I'm after is just like charms and cash. We should get plenty of that even with none of the mechanics selected at all. Okay, there is the first ever kill down. We got water battle staffs as our first drop, and 15 crimson charms. That's not bad. I wonder if he drops 15 blue charms as well when he drops blue charms, because that's going to add up really fast. The first thing that I noticed is we definitely did not maintain our health. We'll see how it goes after a few kills, but it's definitely possible that I will need to bank every once in a while and get some extra food. It's really not a big issue. I mean, I can just attune the portal and War's Retreat for Archglacior and get back here in like 5 seconds. So it's not really a problem to bank. It just makes the kill slightly more annoying. Oh, one other thing that I should mention is I did unlock the Penance Aura. I'm using it right now, just because I do need Prey Mage active in order to do this boss effectively, so it's really helping me out with the prayer gain. And then also, if I camp enough, I will eventually just earn enough Marks of War from this boss to be able to unlock Vampirism as well, which should help us out quite a bit. Oh, nice. I just got the first ever effigy I think we've received on this account. What's the first skill? Can we open one stage? Fishing or farming? No, not quite, but, you know, getting 91 fishing would be totally doable. I did my first bank trip. I'm about to head back to Archglacior, but one thing I did want to do is buy the Ring of Vigor. It's something I've been meaning to buy for a long time, and I completely forgot about it, but it just makes my ability rotation a little bit more effective after using an ultimate, so it has pretty decent stats too. Okay, alright, I think our hour is expired. I have still a minute left on my aura, but the boss is no longer spawning, which is a little weird because I started my aura after I entered the instance, but things may have gotten a little bit weird because I went out of the instance and banked a couple of times, but I did bank much of the loot that I got over the hour, but the one thing I did not bank is the charms, and that's like the main thing I'm here for. So 180 blue charms an hour is really good, and just for reference, I think in total from level 1 to level 81 Slayer, all that Slayer that I did, picking up every single blue charm, I only got about 550 blue charms. So I got about 1/3 of the amount of the charms that you get from 1 to 81 Slayer just from 1 hour of Archglacior. That's really good. And in total, we got 29 kills in that hour. Oh, and we also passed 100 total boss kills, which means I can unlock the Eastern Portal, so I can now attune 2 different boss portals to 2 bosses. Going to keep one attuned to Archglacior, of course, and then whenever there's like a boss I need to kill for whatever reason, need to camp, we have a second boss portal in order to do that. Okay, so I have 3 skills left for Plague's End, and I've managed to get 2 of them banked. One is 75 crafting, and one is 75 summoning. It may not look like it, but if I open my crafting tab, this is actually enough to get to 75 crafting. I need about 600k XP. These gems, cutting all of them, is going to be about 400k of that XP. And then on top of that, I have a whole list of quests to go through, and I'm going to turn all of these diamonds into bracelets and then alch them, because I'll need the money for summoning. So all told, that's going to get me to 75 crafting, just barely. I have just enough, but it's going to get me there. Okay, it's time to start the questing for crafting XP. The first one is Talk to Skadil, and a lot of these quests that I'm going to be doing for crafting XP, not only is the crafting nice, but I'll also be completing a lot of pre-requirements for future quests I want to do. One of the quests I want to do is Rocking Out, and that's like long quest chain required ultimately for Ritual of the Majorat, so it's totally worth doing it this way. This quest is so weird. Despite being the first ever made Tazar quest, it's not required for completing any of the other ones, and the only thing that you unlock from this quest is like a crappy mine with some adamantite and coal and mithril. Like, I'll give that a pass. It would have been cool if you at least unlocked like a useful mine from this quest, but nope, you don't really get anything other than some XP. Okay, we did it. We got our XP. It's only 10k crafting XP, but that's still a decent amount, and the quest didn't take too long, and it's a nice change of pace. Next, we're going to be doing one of my favorite quests, and this is Deadliest Catch. It's not required for the next quest I want to do, which is Kindred Spirits, but the RS Wiki says it's recommended and you need it for full completion. I'm not sure what that means, but it's a short quest. The rewards are really good, so I'm going to do it anyway. We're finishing up Deadliest Catch here. The XP reward you get from this quest is pretty insane considering it's like a 10-minute quest, and you get a whole lot of XP in Fishing and Hunter. Also, we passed 200 quest points, so it's time to check out the quest point caravan. I think this is our last tier 2 dice, and from now on we get tier 3, which are just like a lot better than tier 2. But we have to do some more quests before we get any of those. So 500k cash, it's not nothing. I think it's 1 mil from now on, which is even better. And then we also just get some Addy Heraldic plate legs. Okay, we're finishing up Kindred Spirits here. So I can now get Linza's gear if I want to when I do Barrows in the future. It might be cool. It's a tier 80 set, so it's stronger defensively than the other Barrows sets. However, obviously you can just smith tier 80 armor now, so it's not quite maybe as powerful as it would have been in the past. But anyway, we get our crafting lamp, which is what I wanted, 25k crafting XP, and the other skills you get are pretty useful as well. You get herb lore, smithing, and agility, 25k in each, so quest rewards are really good. Okay, the next quest I'm doing is Empire Need. Really short quest and it gives crafting XP, so that is why I am here. Okay, we're finishing up already. The reward for this quest is mostly XP, but you can also go and kill a phoenix, I think every single day, and you can get 5 phoenix quills. Now for a long time, these were just used to create a summoning pouch, and it was pretty useless because it just wasn't very good compared to other combat familiars, but phoenix quills are worth a lot of money now, like 21k each in the GE. And they're not that challenging or difficult to get, which must mean there's some sort of use for the Phoenix. So I don't know if the Phoenix Familiar was buffed and it's decent in combat now, or something like that. Okay, we've officially started Recipe for Disaster. You need to do at least some of the RFD subquests as requirements for a lot of other quests, so it's important to get this started. So the only subquests I absolutely need to do for the quests that I want to complete anyway are Ceramic Vars, and I think that I have to do Pirate Pete as well. But I'm also going to do Evil Dave just because doing his subquest and then Evil Dave's big day out afterwards gives me the ability to boost with spicy stews pretty easily, so that's just going to be a useful thing to have unlocked. Okay, the first subquest I finished was Pirate Pete. Pirate Pete is now done. So ultimately, this is the result of my gold mining grind and my bracelet making grind. And the reason why I wanted to make the bracelets is because we need cash, and alching all of these is going to result in a little bit over 2 mil, which is not bad. So obviously I could have just camped gargoyles for a couple of hours or something in order to earn the same amount of cash, and it would have been less effort overall. But I wanted to use up all these diamonds and not just have them go to waste. I wanted to do something with them. And then also all of the steps to making the diamond bracelets were pretty AFK, so I was able to do them all working on homework. I think this is step 2 of Recipe for Disaster. Ceramic Vars, done. Okay, I think I have the right spicy stew here. And Evil Dave is done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to continue the sidetrack and finish up Evil Dave's big day out. It is a quest I could have done a long time ago, and the XP reward would have been more impactful back then, but I'm going to do it now. Okay, I just finished up Evil Dave's big day out. That was kind of a fun quest. I really like doing the newer quests, especially the ones I've never done before, especially over the older ones I've done a million times. But anyway, lots of magic XP, decent amount of herb lore XP, agility, and cooking. You can see how this would be, like, you do not need very high requirements to do this quest. You can see how that would be like an insane amount of XP if you did it as a low level. I did not, but it is still helpful. Okay, this quest that I just finished up was the Great Brain Robbery. Get a little bit of prayer XP, access to Harmony Island, and the main reason I did this quest was just because this is the final one I needed to do for Rocking Out. Okay, and that does it for Rocking Out. This is a really long quest, a lot longer than I remember For some reason, my brain, this was the final pirate quest, but there's actually 2 more. There's Clockwork Syringe and Pieces of Hate. Pieces of Hate is one I've never done before. But the sweet thing about the XP rewards from this quest, we got quite a bit. I think it was 100k overall. I just hit 80 agility. That is awesome. Okay, this is the 4th and the last stage of RFD that I'm planning on doing right now. I'll come back and I'll do the rest of RFD later, but for now we finished off King Awoge. So now we can teleport to Apatol. That's always an awesome thing to unlock, and I guess this is like, the hardest one, so it's always good to get that one done. We should get a decent chunk of cooking XP as well. Oh yeah, there's the reward finally. 10k agility XP, not bad. I'm always happy to see that. Okay, here it is, the infamous one small favor. I gotta do this quest. It's one of the prerequisites for Love Story, which gives a juicy crafting XP reward. I'm gonna try to do it under an hour. We'll see if I am successful or not. Okay, good news. I did in fact manage to complete one small favor in under an hour. Looks like it took me actually under 45 minutes. That's not bad. That's a speedy quest, man. I also get 20k free XP. What to put it in? Probably just Herblore. That's where all of my XP is going these days. Okay, we are pretty much done with summoning for Plague's End. I didn't quite hit 75, I'm still at 74, but One of a Kind gives a really chunky summoning XP reward. I just need to get a little bit more summoning XP, I think 2 more inventory of blue charms, and then we just need to do One of a Kind and we'll hit 75. Okay, this level is actually really big. I just hit 78 defense, which is not really the significant part. Along with that came 110 combat, which is the requirement to start using Kuradel as a Slayer Master. And I do want to start using Kuradel as soon as possible, but the only problem with that is, this is the list of the tasks that she assigns. It's really long. There's a lot of Slayer creatures in the game. But Desert Strikeworms are here kind of like in the middle, task weighting wise. It does not have a super high weighting, so she doesn't assign Desert Strikeworms that often. The only reason why that's a problem is because Desert Strikeworms are one of the highest weight tasks for Duradel, so he theoretically assigns them very often, even though I've had a hard time getting a Desert Strikeworm task from him, but of course that's just variance. And the reason why I need Desert Strikeworms as a task is because I need a focus sight in order to finish off my Slayer helm. You see me wearing this stupid hex crest on my head, and the reason for that is because I can't put it in the Slayer helm until I get the focus sight. So I'm stuck with not having any sort of bonus for range slaying at the moment, and I do want that to change, so I need at least one, perhaps a couple of Desert Strikeworm tasks, depending on how long it takes to get that drop. So I don't necessarily want to get Desert Strikeworms all the time, I just want to get them until I can get a focus sight drop. Okay, it's time to get my first ever task, on this account anyway, from Kuradel. There is an argument for continuing to use Duradel, but I just want to start using Kuradel. I'm excited to start slaying in Kuradel's dungeon. Let's see what our first task is going to be. Grot Worms? That's just immensely boring. That's a task that you can be assigned from quite literally any Slayer Master. Okay, I canceled it. I couldn't resist. Let's try that again. And now she's going to give me 256 gargoyles. That's a lot of gargoyles. It will be a long task, but we should easily make over $1 million in cash profit from that task, so I cannot complain. Okay, it took a lot of gem rock mining and a lot of questing, but we got there. 75 crafting is done. It feels really good to get this requirement for Plague's End completed. One of the harder skills for sure. Okay, I'm completing quite literally the shortest quest of all time in Tears of Guthix. Should have done this one a while ago just to receive the weekly free XP, but I got it done now. I'm trying to prep some of the recommended quests for World Wakes at the moment. I just went to the wilderness to pick up an engram, and there's someone in the crater, and he's just like running away from me. I don't even have PvP enabled. I definitely do not look like a PvPer right now. Anyway, I realized I had some energy in my bank, and I had some engrams still to charge, and the reason why I wanted to do that is I turned this one in, and boom, we just hit 60 plus in all skills. Well, other than invention, I suppose, but all the skills that are trainable right now, we have at least 60 in, and we're really close to 70 as well. So I'm just trying to be a well-rounded player. And that is going to do it for the conclusion of this video. The goal at the moment is to complete One of a Kind. That will get us the last of the summoning XP that we need for 75 summoning. And it will also give us the Dragon Rider amulet, and we're going to use that in combination with the Bone Crusher to get around 100k prayer XP per hour, and we're going to use that to train the Frost Dragons to 75 prayer. That's just the fastest method for prayer training with where I'm at right now with the gear and abilities that I have available to me. It is faster overall prayer XP, even though it's definitely like worse overall than Vire's in terms of all the other XP you get in drops, but I just want to get the prayer done as fast as possible. Unfortunately, I just didn't quite have enough time to finish off One of a Kind this week. I still have a few quests left to go before I can even start it, but I am planning on getting that done early next week, and then we can get the prayer done, and then hopefully start on the rest of those elf quests that we need before we can do Plague's End. So as always, as we end off here, don't forget to join my friends chat, munclesonkey, same as the name of this channel, and it's also down in the description of this video. And I will see you all next time. Until then, have a great weekend.